I think it was shorter than that. I don't remember the Frigga part.
Frigga, yeah, maybe they added that one.
Yeah, Frigga triskaidekaphobia is not uncommon. The word comes from Frigga, the name of the Norse goddess. Or is it Frigga or Frigga? Maybe might be Frigga.
Just say Frigga.
Frigga sounds better. The Norse goddess from whom Friday is named, and the triskaidekaphobia, or fear of the number 13. So it's just adding the Friday part to it. It is also sometimes called, good Lord, paraskevidekatriophobia. I'm going to leave it at that.
That sounds about right.
From the Greek paraskevi, or for Friday, decatres for 13, and phobia for fear. There will be 3 incidences. Why did you do that? What?
It all just disappeared.
Good Lord, that was weird.
Friday the 13th, man.
There have been some odd things going on in this house today, actually. There will be 3 incidences of the superstitious day this year, January 13th. Wait, what year is this from? Oh, this is from 2012. I was thinking, like, it was this year. I guess it's not. It's from 2012. So in 2012, January 13th, April 13th, and July 13th. In the Gregorian calendar, Friday the 13th always occurs at least once a year and can appear up to 3 times in any one year. So up to 3 times. You can't have more than 3.
Gregorian calendar?
Yeah.
Does some guy named Gregory make that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, this is my calendar.
Did you Google the number of people?
Yeah, as of 2014, there were 318.9 million people in the United States.
I don't know how to do percentages very well.
Now, what was the number that...
Let's just go with 21 million.
All right, let me...
Okay. While he's doing calculations, I'm going to keep on reading here. History and origins of Friday the 13th. The origin of fears surrounding Friday the 13th is unclear. There is reportedly no written evidence of Friday the 13th superstition before the 19th century, but superstitions surrounding the number 13 date back at least 700 BC. In the ancient Babylon's Code of Hammurabi, dating about 1772 BC, the number 13 is omitted in the list of laws. There has also been a long-standing myth that if 13 people dine together, one will die within a year. That myth comes from both the Last Supper, when Jesus dined with 12 apostles prior to his death, and a popular Norse myth in which 11 close friends of the god Odin dined together only to have the 12-person party crashed by a 13th person, Loki, like Jason talked about, the god of evil and turmoil. In fact, the number 13 has been considered cursed across the world for thousands of years. The number 12 is historically considered the number of completeness, while its older cousin 13 has been seen as an outlier. There are 12 months in the year, 13 gods of Olympus, I just jumped all over stuff again. 12 gods of Olympus, 12 hours of the clock, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 apostles of Jesus, 12 descendants of Muhammad imams, among many incidences of the pattern historically. In 1881, an organization was started called the 13 Club in an attempt to improve the number's reputation. The 13 members walked under ladders and spilled salt at the first meeting in an attempt to dissuade any negative associations with the number. Again, this is kind of reiterating some of the stuff you talked about. Let's see. Despite these efforts, the number 13 continues to have an unlucky association today. 13 is so disliked that many cities do not have a 13th Street or 13th Avenue. Many high-rise buildings avoid having a 13th floor. Some hospitals avoid labeling rooms with the number 13, and many airports will not have a gate 13. Friday has also long been considered an unlucky day. One theory hypothesizes that Friday has been considered unlucky because Jesus was crucified on a Friday, according to the Christian scripture and tradition. Another states that the superstition regarding Friday comes from Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales, published in the 14th century, where Friday is considered a day of misfortune and ill luck.
Every Friday?
I guess. In numerous publications in the 17th century, Friday the 13th was outlined as an unlucky day to take a trip, to begin a new project, or to have a major life change, such as a birth, marriage, among other events. So, I'm guessing that means every Friday. Let's get down here. Superstition or reality. Many studies have been conducted to investigate the risk of accidents on Friday the 13th, according to research completed at the Dutch Center for Insurance Statistics.
Oh, Jesus.
In 2008, there were fewer accidents and reports of theft or fire on Friday the 13th than on other Fridays.
It's because everybody's scared to do anything. They stay in the house.
Yeah, and people are scared they're going to get caught.
Yeah, that's true.
I find it hard to believe that it is because people are preventatively more careful or just stay home, but statistically speaking, driving is a little bit safer on Friday the 13th. Because people are, in fact, staying home.
Huh.
Between 2006 and 2008, CVS, which is short for that little thing, I don't know where they got the V from, but found that there were an average 7,800 traffic deaths on each Friday, but the average fell on Friday the 13th when there were only 7,500 deaths. Similar statistics were found in a comparison of normal Fridays and Friday the 13th for fires and robberies. So, that is weird. When you really think about it, people, I guess, are actually just not doing things.
Watching their stuff.
Yeah. Popular myths and superstitions. This is the last section here. Whether there is any merit to the superstitions surrounding Friday the 13th will remain uncertain, but that will not stop millions of people across the world from worrying about the unlucky day. There are a number of popular myths and superstitions surrounding the day. Most famously, first one here, if you cut your hair on Friday the 13th, someone in your family will die.
Jesus.
Yeah. If a funeral procession passes you on Friday the 13th, you will be the next to die. I don't know if I don't think that's ever happened to me.
Obviously not. You're still alive.
Oh, yeah. Do not start a trip on Friday or you will encounter misfortune. If you break a mirror on Friday the 13th, you will have 7 years of bad luck.
I thought that was all the time, though, with mirrors, I guess.
Yeah. A child born on Friday the 13th will be unlucky for life. Ships that set sail on a Friday will have bad luck. If you walk under a ladder, or if a black cat crosses you on Friday the 13th, you will have bad luck. Again, that's kind of an everyday.
So if you're in the hospital right now giving birth, hold it in till midnight.
Yeah, you might want to have old Doc Hansy push that thing back in there.
Well, just wait till Saturday the 14th and you'll be good.
Yeah, just a couple more hours.
It's for the children.
Yeah, just a couple more hours will be okay. Unless you're on the Central Time Zone or Pacific Time Zone, then you're kind of screwed.
That's true.
But, all right, you're up.
All right, 13 freaky things that happened on Friday the 13th. Number 1, a Daredevil's Death Leap. Perhaps Friday the 13th wasn't the best day to stage a leap into New York's Genesee River. But then again, concern over the date might never have occurred to Sam Patch, an early daredevil who made his name by jumping off a cliff near Niagara Falls on October 17, 1829. Patch, who was born around 1800, lived before Friday the 13th superstitions were prevalent. They probably emerged closer to the end of 1800s, or at least that's what the folklorists find the first written records. Child mill worker, Patch would get an adrenaline rush by leaping off of mill dams. Okay, I thought mills ended. Mill dams. A talent he eventually spun into public stunts to show for cash. The Niagara Leap made him a national name. Less than a month later, however, Patch arrived in Rochester, half drunk, according to Sam Patch, the famous jumper. Hill and Wang, 2003. What? By Paul E. Johnson. I guess it's a book. Some 10,000 people gathered to watch Patch leap from Genesee Falls on Friday, November 13th, 1829. What happened next is lost to history, but an 1883 article in the New York Times reported that Patch did not retain the position while descending or strike the water. What? Okay. As he did on the former occasion. So basically he didn't do what he normally did. Yes. When he had previously made a similar jump, whatever occurred that Friday the 13th was Patch's last leap. What was it?
He must be right outside the window.
Yeah.
Okay, well, excuse the dog. Like we announced before, there's a new dog, and he loves to be crazy, apparently. So.
All right. Number 2, the Black Friday fires. On January 13th, 1939, a bushfire tore through Australia's Victoria province, killing 36 people in one day. This Black Friday fire was the deadly icing on top of a terrible fire season for the province. According to Australian Emergency Management, a total of 71 people died that January, and 75% of the state was affected by the flames. Okay. Buckingham Palace bombed. During World War II, Nazi Germany began an intensive bombing campaign against the United Kingdom, targeting London in particular. On 16 occasions, Buckingham Palace itself was hit, according to the City of Westminster Archives Centre. One of the most destructive of these hits occurred on Friday the 13th, on September 13th, 1940. Queen Elizabeth and George VI, again with the, that's what, 11? Right. No, V is 5.
Yeah, so 6.
See, Roman numericals, man. Nope, don't mix with me. We're at T, according to the archives. 5 bombs struck the place, one of which destroyed the interior of the Royal Chapel. Another ruptured a water main. 3 people were injured, 1 fatally. Number 4, the Kansas floods. July 1951 was an extremely inauspicious day for northeastern Kansas. Almost said Canada. The rains had been coming down hard and heavily since July 9th, bringing up to 16 inches of precipitation to the Kansas, Neosho, Verdigris, and Marias des Cagnes rivers? Why are they naming their stuff like that in Kansas, man? On that Friday the 13th, records were broken. In Topeka, the Kansas River rose. Now it's the Kansas River. That's nice. Let's stick to that. Rose to 40.8 feet, which was 14.8 feet above flood stage. Damn. And 6 feet higher than any flood ever measured to the date, according to the National Weather Service. Number 5, a Cold War crisis. On Friday, June 13th, 1952, the Cold War turned hot when the Soviet Union shot down a Swedish military transport plane. 8 people were on board the plane, which the Swedish government insisted were merely on a training flight. For its part, the Soviet Union declared it had no involvement in the shooting down of the lost DC-3. Number 6, a murder goes ignored. One of New York's most brutal and notorious murders occurred on Friday the 13th, on March 13th, 1964. Bar manager Kitty Genovese was stabbed and raped by a stranger, Winston Morsley? Okay. The attack took more than a half hour, and the early New York Times article reported that 38 people witnessed the attack and failed to call the police. Damn. The tragic case became staple in psychology classes as a way to illustrate the bystander effect, or Kitty Genovese syndrome. That's kind of cool. Well, not that it happened, but which occurs when people fail to act in situations because they assume someone else will step in. Number 7, a deadly cyclone strikes. The deadliest tropical cyclone in history struck on Friday, November 13th, 1970 in Bangladesh. Making landfall that Thursday night, the Bahola cyclone killed at least 300,000 people, according to the University Corporation for Atmospheric Research. Number 8, an infamous story of survival begins. On Friday the 13th, in October 1972, the Uruguayan, I got it right this time, Old Christians Club rugby team boarded a turboprop plane to travel to the match in Chile. They never made it because of the navigation. Is this the one where they were eating each other?
I think so. Maybe.
Yeah, it is. It was made into that book Alive.
Hey, think about this. Rugby is a very, very much so violent sport.
Yeah, it is.
And you have a rugby violent sport team named
Old Christians Club. Basically, they hit a mountain peak and then
they ate each other.
Yeah. Incredibly, rescue did not come until the end of December. When did this happen? October. Wow. After 2 survivors launched a death-defying effort to hike out of the rugged terrain for help. The last of the 16 survivors were rescued on December 26, 1972, after 72 days in the frigid wilderness. A lesser-known plane crash kills 174 for number 9. According to a statistical, I hate these words, analysis by the Aviation Safety Network. All these networks. And Superstitious passengers need not worry about flying on a Friday the 13th. The unlucky